They need to learn how to play mgusha.
Not boys.
Yes, boys. You know why?
I'm mgusha.
Because you want your child to either become a doctor, an accountant. We still need to educate ourselves and see what is relevant for our kids now. You know, because what was relevant then is not what is relevant now.
Like he will see a B as a D, so it doesn't really.
Dyslexia.
Oh, it's got dyslexia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We take our kids and throw them to the teachers.
Yes.
And like, yo, sabong.
Yeah.
You know, with the school clothes, you like.
Our fridges are not safe.
Yeah, our fridges are not safe because we cannot stand our own children.
Exactly.
We cannot even spend time with our own children. You've got students in each class. There are plus minus 50 kids.
What?
Does the black jacket make it okay?
Yes, it's perfect.
It matches with the black and white dress.
We are in sync. So I've been ridiculed, right? For homeschooling my son. And what are your views on the education system in South Africa?
I think you're bringing this topic at a very, very, very good time. There's a little young man that I found 𝐂𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝓫𝓾𝓬𝓪𝓽𝓲𝓸𝓷. And this young man is no longer going to school because he's somewhat challenged academically.
Okay.
I think I'm sure what they call it, but like he will see a B as a D. And so he doesn't really.
Dyslexia.
Oh, it's got dyslexia.
Yes.
Yes. So I think he ended up 𝐂𝐿𝐿𝐿𝓫𝓾𝓬𝓪𝓽𝓲𝓸𝓷. Obviously, they've tried a couple of years to take him to school and so forth.
Yes.
So this boy is only 9, high school. And it's good that we brought this topic now because you're talking about homeschooling.
Yes. A healthy alternative.
I only knew about homeschooling in the past 5, 6, 7 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Because to me, school was what's all saying, unke school peki.
Emela transporte.
If I'm not transport no rona, what's all saying, unke school peki, o chapel nyao,
Johnny Walker.
Yeah. So homeschooling, it was foreign.
It was very foreign. Yeah.
But obviously opening up to new ideas, new things, new way of doing education. Not the
True.
same.
And it's not new because most of the people I went to school with did homeschooling. Wow. They only joined grade 6 or grade 7 once they actually had the foundation phase done. So it was almost normal for them to be reintegrated into the schooling system at that age. And some got reintroduced into schooling grade 8, into the normal circular schooling. So it's it's not really a new concept. It's just that in this country now it's more accepted because of, I think they're trying to understand it better. I mean, I remember when I was registering my son for grade 1. So it's grade 1 to grade 3. That's the foundation phase. And then they give you those 3 years to complete it. You can complete it in less, and it gives the child an opportunity to get ahead or go at their own pace. Like you said, there's a 9-year-old that's not going to school because he's dyslexic. I mean, for instance, my sister just turned 45. She is dyslexic, but she's a normal functioning person, you know. There's nothing wrong with having an ailment or a reading disability or impairment. And there are mechanisms to counteract that. You can actually be taught how to read as a dyslexic child and become a dyslexic adult, you know. But I think it's something that needs to be looked at because we cannot be having children that are not schooled at all.
Yeah, I think it's an education that we need to have for our society as a whole, and especially in our Black society and our Black communities, to say, it doesn't end right at school. It continues beyond those gates,
Yes.
beyond those
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
And school doesn't necessarily mean that class is normal.
Normal. Yeah. Yeah.
No. You know, so we find these kids being called the domkopo, stupid,
Yes. Yeah.
udomo,
Yeah.
and
And they're just different, and there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with being different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's society have to now accept that there are people like that, and to being able to obviously find a help elsewhere. There's a lot of institutions that could help
Yes.
such kids, and
Yes.
there's so many things like you've mentioned now. There's homeschooling. There's other schools.
There's tutoring as well.
There's tutoring. There's so many other avenues for our kids to get ahead. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to go to the streamlined education, where they are going now.
Yeah.
Being involved, I think the true definition of saying as a father, you not only father your own kids, but you become a father of the village.
Exactly, because it takes a village.
Yeah. There are a couple of kids that we have come to raise and who had challenges as well. So, there's a girl, she's doing quite well right now. She's at college and she's studying hotel management. So, but it's also one of those girls that didn't have to go through the normal schooling, and she had to navigate through life because of the same challenges.
Mainstream education is not always the answer for everyone.
I think that's what we need to really, really, really accept as parents, that not all children will have to go through matric.
Yes.
And pass matric. And I know our systems and the way our job market works is that you need to have matric for you to qualify first. But things are changing. There are the N4s, the N6 that get accepted.
Matric is not a golden ticket. It's not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, whereby you waiting for that only golden ticket that is the only option for you to acquire something.
It's not everyone who will manage to get to matric and pass and be able to get ahead in life and go to varsity.
Exactly.
But there's other elements, other type of schools, FET colleges.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that
and people don't know, guys, if you have like practical experience, you are more well equipped to work in the industry that you studied for. Understand? And people don't understand how much artisans get paid.
Yes.
Like, it's not even just a thing of you're going another direction.
Boiler makers.
They
get
money.
They've got money. They get the good money. So our kids, they don't even have an idea of those type of careers.
Yes, because they're not exposed, and we don't expose them because you want your child to either become a doctor, an accountant, or something that has to do with sitting down in an office for 45 hours a week. And then your child is successful.
Yeah, then we come and say that the foreigners take our jobs, but we're not learning these practical jobs where we can use our hands.
Yeah.
Mechanical jobs. Like you said, artisan. Looking at, there's so many things. Boiler makers. There are so many industries that we haven't really. We're not pushing our kids towards that industries, to say you can be a successful individual doing this type of work. Yeah. You can open your own company doing this type of work.
Exactly.
So,
like you said, education doesn't stop when you finish matric or anything.
No.
Our education as parents does not stop. We still need to educate ourselves and see what is relevant for our kids now. Because what was relevant then is not what is relevant now. And we need to do the research that a parent needs to do as you're the student, you understand? So that you know exactly what your child will go through and know the capabilities of your child and learn your child. Because I think as parents, we think that the teachers will do the job for us. No.
Yeah, I think as parents, we're missing that triangle of the teacher, the child, and the parent.
And the parent, yeah.
So we take all responsibility and put it into the into the teacher and say the teacher must see to finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
It's a new pandemic, ne?
No, it is.
Yeah. Absent parents.
Yeah. I often say that if I have to look at things that I have to go through as a parent now and compare to our parents, you're more likely to say that our parents got away with crime.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
I never ever remember my mom helping with the homework or anything. It was just do your homework.
Yeah,
you must know what to do.
Yes. So the truth is that they did what they could with what they had.
Yeah.
So with not much that they were given or learning more.
Yeah.
So we'll excuse it from that. But we have everything in our disposal.
Yes.
We want to try new things. We want to be present and do things with our kids and explain things, attend things.
Yeah.
I found my weekends fully packed because of the activities that my boys have to go through and my children have to go through. And all of these, events and birthday parties and so forth, karate and all those things.
Yes.
So, but these are all activities that I did. But unfortunately, my parents were never present at the time to be there for me to do while I was doing those things. I did them. All they ask is that, upasile ngo June, upasile December. Those are the two questions my dad will ask me the whole year. Upasile. If I said yes, good. No, sebenzile. She didn't want to see what marks were they.
Yeah.
What grade did I get?
Yeah.
Did I pass on F or on E?
Yeah.
It didn't matter. I don't pass it. That was important to him.
Hush.
So, so it's a challenge that we are facing today to say our kids, our society, everyone needs to learn to do things differently. We need to work together. Yeah. I'm hoping that as we go through the podcast talking about education, we will get eventually, as we go along, teachers to come sit and explain to us what is it that they go through, the challenges that they face. I know they face a lot of challenges. Yeah. Being involved in the schools and helping out the schools, the board, activities, being in the board of the school, So
what do they call it? The SGB?
The SGB, yes. So you find a lot of challenges that the teachers are facing. Yeah. Last year I went to a school, I won't mention the name. They had a grade 12. They got grade 12 to A, B, C, D, and E or K. They call a meeting specifically for F, G, and H. Which one of my daughters was in that that grade, in that F, G, and H. Yeah. They say.
Wait, I don't understand. I thought you're talking about grades, like a grade a person gets. What are you?
No. The grade in terms of it's grade 12. And you've got grade 12A, grade 12B, grade 12C, grade 12. I know. You were not in those type of schools.
No, okay, wait.
You've got enough. You've got students in each class. There are plus minus 50 kids.
What?
If the class was less, they've got 45 kids in the class. So
that was half of my school, 45.
Yeah, Musa. Different.
I think levels.
Yeah,
I know.
Levels.
I think I'm from a different schooling system.
This is now. This is 2022.
Yes.
I'm not talking 10 years ago, 20 years. I'm talking 2022. This school had 50 kids in one class, and they had 7 classes. Matriculant.
How do the teachers cope?
Actually, 8 classes. Because it was F, G, and H, which are troublesome classes. Yeah. And we're called to say, as parents, better deregister this kid, then at least they can come in next year and start afresh. Than having them to go and fail, because they're going to fail. Having them failing and they have to do rewriting and all of that. And they'll still fail. The principal called the meeting just for that. To say, those parents, I'm telling you now, I'm giving you a tip, deregister him now.
Yeah.
Before we go to the final. Then next year, guaranteed they'll have a space here. They can come back, then they can start from scratch. Because these kids are not, these kids are not ready to write the final exams.
Yeah.
Those I'm talking about plus minus 150 kids.
I think the system is strained.
So
50 kids.
So
do you know how your guys, like matriculants from grade 10, do you know the attitude?
Yes.
That you get from those kids?
Look, Mosa, it's insane. It's insane that what the teachers go through, what they have to experience, what principals in schools have to go through. And we don't know half of it.
That's crazy, because I remember, right? I think in my whole school, the whole school from grade 1 to grade 7, there were maximum 110 kids.
I want to
the whole school.
Why don't get 𝐂𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻?
And I'm just thinking, with like the attention, because the attention that we got esikolweni it's unsurpassed. Like my teacher knew exactly where my weak points are. My report was a story. It wasn't just grades. It was Shoni talks too much in class. Wada disturbs other kids because she's finished her work. Wada. It was a story.
Yeah.
Like that I can recite today.
No.
You understand? So I'm just thinking that 50 kids, how are you giving everyone attention?
Then we say the level of education is lacking, but how is it that with the resources that they're
limited,
that these teachers or schools are given and expect to produce excellent results? How so?
So that the classes that were troublesome, I don't think they were troublesome per se. I think that the system has failed them.
Amen.
You know? Because some kids need attention, just like a child that cannot read properly. You get matriculants that cannot read properly, you know, not because they cannot read, but they were not given the certain equipment that they needed to learn how to read in their own way.
Yeah, but we don't encourage reading in our own homes.
Hey, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
So we expect the teachers to encourage reading at school.
Exactly. And
when
the thing
you
is,
as a parent,
you never pick up a book.
Never pick up a book.
And the child never sees you reading.
Yeah.
So how are they going to get that into their system?
So I think those are the things that we need to change in our household. It's a mirror effect.
Yes.
So
monkey see, monkey do.
Absolutely. So you don't see me reading. You don't see me dedicating time to read. Dedicating time to watch
Shaka 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 and all that stuff.
No.
And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So, you know, the last time I think I bought a TV, right? I think it was 2018. And the times that I switched on that TV, I probably can count. It's probably less than 100. That time that TV was on.
See, that's what I'm talking about levels. When that's a 𝐂𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻.
You know, I think, you know what, I think my mom, I need to thank my mom for putting me through a different education system so that she was educating me for the future, not for just education itself. Yeah. Because now I'm a different parent because I've been exposed to different education systems.
Sitting here, me and Minanawe, we both come from different education background.
Yes.
And it doesn't stop that I went to
yes, that's true.
And so forth. So the same educational system that is now is what I've experienced too.
Yeah.
So
and you're parenting differently. You're almost parenting like somebody who went to a prestigious school because you're taking the time to learn that this is how things should have been done. What I didn't get, I can give to my kids.
Absolutely. So because sometimes it's not about having the money to take them. You know where my boys go to school.
Yes.
So it's not the prestigious school.
No.
It's the same schools that any other child goes to.
Yeah.
But the difference is that you must put time aside to sit and find out if they've got homework. Don't just ask them if they have homework and let it be. Find out if they've got homework. See how you can help them, where they need help from.
Yes.
You know your strength. They should know good. If we're looking for this and this literature, it's if you're doing history, so it's those things. And mom is good in this, dad is good in this. If we can't find extra classes for them, let them do things. But you cannot just sit busy and take the child to school. It's like
you're taking the responsibility away from yourself for parenting. That's exactly what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because yes, you're supposed to have assistance, and the government provides that through an education system, but you still need to do the work.
You know what my mom always says? He says, I love my mother-in-law, beautiful woman.
She
says,
the best cooking.
Yeah, no. Amazing. She always says this, which if ubona intombazane, bayithanda kakhulu kapho umfana. Wazi ukuthi lowo mfana loyo very useless. So babonga wena nje.
That is so true. Yes.
Yeah. And
vice versa. Moment for that.
It's like thank you for taking this stress away from us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you don't see what we know.
Yeah. So it's like we do that with our kids. We take our kids and throw them to the teachers.
Yes.
And like, siyabonga.
Yeah.
You know, with the school clothes, you like, I've heard, I think I listened to the radio last year. They were saying, now that the schools are closed, they were talking to people.
Our fridges are not safe.
Yeah, our fridges are not safe. Because we cannot stand our own children.
Exactly.
We cannot even spend time with our own children. If I wasn't doing this podcast, I was sitting somewhere in the dust playing with my kids.
Yeah.
Every moment that you get, every time that I have.
And it's so
I'd rather sit down, not watch TV, whatever, and play games and do whatever.
Exactly.
Those are moments that you cannot take away for any child.
Definitely
and those are moments that I never had myself.
Yeah.
I can't remember my father kicking a ball with me.
Yes. It's a memory that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we need to work this thing differently.
Yeah.
And it's a type of parenting that we need to have.
Yes.
And we need to choose as families, what is it that's important to us?
Exactly.
There's so many elements to it. There's Christianity, there's religion, there's culture.
Yeah.
There's so many things that
there's socialization.
There's so many things that you need to take a stand as a family to say, Tina, so local.
Yes.
And local.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong by still following Christianity and still practicing your traditions and culture things.
You create your own traditions in your own home.
It's okay.
That can be passed down to the next generation. That's how we got traditions.
There's a biblical scripture that says living and cleaving. It always speaks
living
about...
and cleavage. What? Wait, I didn't hear that.
Cleaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Please.
Not cleavage.
Okay. I was just making sure.
I
was like, the Bible. Cleavage,
after I spend on tandas.
I need prayers, guys.
So, but because that's where we need to understand as parents that when you leave and you get married to a partner, you are basically not an extension, not an extension to your family. Your current family. But you are creating your own family that needs to integrate with your other family that you grew up in.
True.
So we make a mistake to say we're an extension.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We can integrate.
Yes.
And understanding what it means. I'm taking things that will work for my household. And obviously, some of them are influenced by where I'm from, but they might not be done in the same manner that I grew up things being done at Kaya.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean because it's been done at Kaya that way,
Yeah.
I must continue to do it this way.
Yeah.
So hence that's why the education system, the way you work with your kids, the way you do your things, it needs to define you and know you, so that your kids can know. The entire Baba is not because we end up because of so and so, but we end up because of 1, 2, and 3, because he believes in this and that. So they can also take a stand in understanding. Because some of the things that we do it because somebody else has done it.
Yes.
We
don't question why.
We don't question why.
Yeah.
I come home, I sit in the couch, I fold my hands and look at the paper and begin daba. It's the same thing that I've seen that being done.
Yes.
That time doesn't allow me to do that. The time says to me, I come home, I find out do you have homeworks? How did the project go? What assignment do you have? How did your assignment go? How did your exam go? What is it that you need? How can you help? These are things that we need to sit down.
Yeah.
TV, it's a challenge in our society.
A very big one. And it has been. I think, children of, if not the 80s, the 90s, when you grew up in the 90s, you were exposed to the biggest transition of technology.
Yes.
And it either made you or broke you. Yeah. It's either you that couch potato, or you're using television either not as much or using it to your advantage.
Yes.
That's the scenario that we're dealing with.
I like what you just said, because now you're painting another picture of saying that it's not as bad. It's how you're using it.
Yes.
So technology is not bad.
No.
It's how we use the technology, or how we allow our kids to use technology.
Exactly.
That makes it bad.
Yes.
So, like everything else that we speak about is that, guys, everything 𝐒𝐿Zayo, there's limits to it. There must be time frame. There must be things that we do.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sad to see how as society we have even improved. Our matriculant marks, instead of getting better, they're getting worse. And we're not finding a solution as a society, as a community, as a country as a whole. And I really think that it's easier for us to point fingers and say the government is not doing their work. But again, we need to do an introspection and say, as parents, what are we doing? What are you doing in your space? What is it that you are doing differently? What is it that you are... Yes,
yeah.
Not all of us can afford to take our kids to those schools that...
Yes, that I went to. I was very privileged, and I take cognizance of that. Yeah. And I think if you meet me anywhere, you wouldn't say that I'm from those schools, because one thing I learned in primary is to integrate, because you had kids from all walks of life. It even became worse in high school. In high school, I mean, I had Egyptian friends, I had Greek friends, and those are people from those countries, So the exposure was a lot, and it taught me how to accommodate everyone, And I think when you come from a place of inferiority, that's when you see that, because of I didn't get 𝓔𝓭𝓾𝓬𝓪𝓽𝓲𝓷, then I'm inferior. But you're supposed to use that you didn't get those opportunities when you were young. Now use the things that are there for you, and teach your kids that the resources that you have, they can create something. I mean, I was trying, we have mostly boys, right? So I was telling my sister, you know what? They need to learn how to play mgusha.
Not boys.
Yes, boys. You know why?
I'm mgusha.
It's one of the games that I want to teach them, because of mgusha teaches you how to work in a group, number one, right? Because from mgusha, you cannot play mgusha only one. There always has to be either 3 people, the person who's at one point, the other person, and the one who's actually playing. So it teaches you teamwork, right? Number one. Number two, 𝐒𝐿𝐴 teaches you how to elevate. You are always going up in 𝐒𝐿𝐴. You understand?
Yeah.
You are never going down. You start from the bottom and you go up. So it teaches them how to elevate, and the higher you go, the harder it gets. So it's teaching you what? Resilience. That yes, I'm going to come to grade 4, grade 5, it's going to get harder. So you mentally and physically preparing them, because the physics has to work with the mental. You understand?
I hear you.
So people think, oh, no, where now you would want to make people and what they're not, and it's all about a girl's game. No, you need to look. That's what 𝐒𝐿𝐴 taught me, because I used to love going kokasi for holidays, because that's the opportunity that I get to play with 𝐒𝐿𝐴. You know, I get to play diketo. And because of my sister and I, we were so silly, hey? We actually created diketo tsa bosigo, because the coordination for us, go latela the stones and catch them, it just didn't work for us. Then what we did, we created tabusigo. So we're like, okay, we're going to close our eyes, look like that, and then look again, and then...
You throw it, and you close your eyes, and you move. And
not even throw it. We didn't even go that direction, because it was just...
No, you don't throw. You throw something. You throw like you're throwing in the air. Yes.
And then you go like this, and then look at them, and then like devise a way for there must be one that's left outside the circle. That's what we did, because we were just not getting it. So we had to revolutionize our minds and say, no, man, we're going to teach our friends that this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, but
that one is not the one. You understand?
What are my levels? Exactly.
So 𝐒𝐿𝐴 gets you to every level, and it gets more difficult. So mental stimulation, physical stimulation. What are you doing? You are calibrating everything in the body.
I've never really looked at it that way, 𝐒𝐿𝐴, but it makes sense, because you start from the hands now.
Exactly. Maulana, you are at the top. Exactly, you are at the top. So you've reached the pinnacle.
All right. No. I hear you.
Yeah,
okay, so, I wouldn't have agreed, but
but now that you have the explanation.
You know, when a guy is jumping rope, he's like,
oh, what's wrong?
Okay, no,
yes.
So it's okay.
So we need to look at games that we can play with our kids that we played before, because we have a current problem of kids looking at technology for entertainment. And that's one of the biggest problems. Hence, I didn't want my child to go through mainstream education at a foundation level, because I wanted to instill the values and what I needed him to have, and know that what I lacked, I know that I'm giving him now in the foundation phase. So when he goes to high school, he can go to any high school he wants to go to, but he goes to high school knowing who he is, and the fundamental phase is done. You know, and the thing is, I think people have this notion of homeschooling is expensive. Number one, it takes a lot of time, and it's not. Once you do the calculations, it's exactly the same as taking your child to normal school. However, the nice thing is that your child is not waking up at the AMs. I remember Sihlale Soweto, and my school is in 4 ways in Chartwell. 5 beep beep. Do you understand the beep beep at 5 for a child? Yes. That's how adventurous and brave my mother was.
Hey man, when that time of work like us, we are almost what you say school is?
It was Riverside Montessori School. So it's a different education system as well.
Riverside Montessori.
Yeah. Montessori, it's by an Italian lady called Maria Montessori. So she looks at the child, right? And plays on the strengths of the child. So because mina being ila eskoleni, now I'm not. I'm so calm. So calm. Angikhulumi kakhulu, guys. So it plays to my strength because I cannot do something for too long. I get bored easily. So putting me in that system helped me because I could excel. I mean, I went to high school when I was 11. In a normal situation, it wouldn't have happened, because of, I think maybe my mom read, I don't know what the story is, but she just saw that this child is different and she won't be understood. I tried going to mainstream education. I was at Rosebank Primary. They couldn't handle me. They're like, no, please just take your child because she's finished everything. We don't know what to do with her anymore. So it's also about the parent identifying what the child
I think that's the
needs.
important part.
Yeah.
The parents identifying and accepting this is the situation of
exactly,
and make an informed decision going forward.
Yeah.
Unlike these children that now they don't go to school, they can't go to school. There are so many things. I mean, parents need to understand you can go to the Department of Education. You can. The school can write you a letter and say the child has an issue with
and you can inquire. There's other schools.
You take the child to the doctors and take these other schools that they can help you with. So I've done the process. I understand the process of that you have to go through. But there is other means and ways of giving the child the education that they deserve. Yeah. And a good education for that matter. Yeah. But until we open our eyes and our minds to new things and not just be present, but also be active in our children's life and in our children's education, and not just send the child to school and hope he will come back with a matric certificate. No, it doesn't really work that way.
I think we're really building empty shells.
Yeah, we need to really look at this. Yeah, we are as good as the government you complain about is 33%. So
what is that?
Yeah, so we
I wouldn't want a doctor that passed with 33% to be handling me on a surgical table. Does that even make sense? That again, means,
Musa, this is the government. Yes. The government decides on what they want to do for the majority. You decide what you want to do for your household. Exactly. So the government decides.
You are the government in your house. Yes.
So people often complain about the government doing this and that, but I'm always saying,
what are you doing?
In my own space, I'm the government. Yes. So I make decisions. I tell my child that 33% is not acceptable.
It's not.
So it's a fail. So if you got less than 50%, you fail. Yeah. Just know this. Yes. So we need to really, really stamp very hard on these things to our children and really, really speak to our kids and say, good, Buffett, you look at the situation. Yeah. What is it that you're learning? Yeah. Because we're talking about education. At times, not education, the paper.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of forms of education that one needs to understand. Some of our kids don't have the spirit of Ubuntu. We don't have any grandmothers. Yeah. A grandmother, Manje, is at 36.
Yeah, no, it's glammy.
Yeah, the grandmother is at 36. Granny. The grandmother is at 45.
Yeah.
So
it's very young people, and they're still living their lives. And
so we don't have those grandmothers that used to teach
with the wisdom. Yes. And all of those things. Just the greeting goes a long way.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, and they done.
Hey,
I would guys.
Yeah, and to them it's normal.
Yeah, and you cringe as a parent, and you're like, ish.
Yeah, so
Why are you like this? And you're not looking at yourself, good to know you created this monster.
yeah, so they don't greet hello if they do greet.
Hmm.
No hello auntie, hello mang mang,
Yeah.
hello uncle, just hello,
Yeah.
and they'll grow. So these
Yeah.
are kids that you need to obviously groom and speak to them.
You
But
do.
these are things that we need to do as women, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, have these workshops. Call these kids.
Hmm.
The workshop that they normally have. Call the kids. Speak to the kids.
Yeah.
Teach kids things that they don't learn at home or they don't speak about at home.
Yeah.
Because some parents are afraid to speak about sex.
Yes.
Some parents are afraid to speak about education.
Yes.
But some don't even have the information.
They don't.
Yeah, it's not that they're not educated.
Yes.
Some of them are miseducated.
Yeah.
So
And the thing is, when you show your child that you don't know something, right? It depends how you socialize that child. That child can turn around and say, "No, mama, you don't know." You understand?
Yeah.
Or daddy, you don't know. So it depends how you socialize your child as well, because of, yes, we won't know everything as parents. However, we are very good guide and compass for where a child should go.
that's why we're here.
Yes.
The sad reality and the sad truth of this is that it's important that you raise your kid with good manners and all those things, because we have no idea how long you're going to be here.
Thank you.
So now you leave after you've done all this damage to this child, you've done all those things. So we are left behind
With a problem.
With a problem.
A very serious one.
Then we are left behind with a huge problem of kids who cannot be reprimanded,
Yes.
of kids who doesn't know how to respect, who doesn't know how to give respect or receive respect, who doesn't ask, who doesn't, there's no please, there's no thank you. It's
nothing,
just,
no mannerisms, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
it's
at all.
It's just a rough diamond that really needs to be polished and polished and
Yes,
polished.
yeah.
So shine a spine.
I like that you said a rough diamond, because sometimes we are very quick to cancel people just because they don't fit in the box that we want them. Like your kids, if they don't listen to you and stuff, you are quick to label your child as disobedient and whatnot. I think this topic needs a part 2. I think because we need to delve deeper into this education, and not just the education, the formal education or the mainstream education, but the education at home, but because it takes a village.
Yeah, definitely. It's important that as you grow and as you raise these kids and ukhulisa abantwana yonke lento kumnandi ekhaya, but you need to make sure ukuthi you're doing it in such a way that these kids understand that this space, it's not the only space there is. Kunabanye abantu outside of this space.
Yes.
There's other lifestyle outside of this space. So abantwana bena basavakashi bahlala in these posh houses, in these beautiful spaces, and
they don't socialize with other people.
They only go to Gran when it's Gran's birthday. You're taking Gran the cake, and after you eat the cake. And
where did that culture come from? Westernization sometimes is just bad. Because I don't remember. I think we promoted a lot, and I think we are undoing the wrongs of our parents, right? If there's a birthday or there's a weekend or there's anything, we make sure that the kids are together so that bakhule bonke. It mustn't be a thing of, hey, this one lives in the suburbs, hey, this one lives eKasi, hey, okodi plasing and whatnot. We treat them the same, and we give them the same wisdom, and we make sure that we keep them in the same space for longer than 24 hours so that they get to learn about each other.
Come on, 2 hours max. After more, you back on your car, you back on your babes. I'll never do more cars. That's how it happens. That's the reality of it. So
but
we see, but then we see
we're cocooning our kids too much.
Each one,
they not, Pella, they only seeing the now. Ne? We've seen the then, the present, and we can still see the future coming, because we've lived long enough to know what is what.
I couldn't know you choose which aunt you're gonna send your kids to, because the aunt has got the same level of lifestyle as you do, more or less.
Yeah.
So your kids will move from my home here to the aunt who also has the same stuff that we have at home. So the comfort for the kids still remains the same. They get used to it as well. So I really go auntie mang,
No,
you know, yeah.
ba
So you
sukhere.
will not take your kid from where you live and take him straight to Bramfisher.
Yeah.
Or go
You won't do
Zola.
that.
No, you won't do that.
But why not? You know?
Because you know.
Why? Excuse me, Oto. I mean, you know, there's a situation, on Friday, I think I heard this, and it sounds so funny hearing it now. So there's this, you could say a typical Hloni, Kulela Masababsini, and doesn't know Kasi life, right? Ne? To that extent. Now you are grown, you have a child, you are dating somebody, right? That person takes you to where they can afford, which is Kasi, right? Uhleli lapho, there's no ceiling. And you know 𝐒𝐶 when it rains.
Yeah.
You know that sound.
Yes.
Yeah, ongati, and when it's a storm and you're not used to it, and you're used to ceilings and slabs,
high roofs,
you don't know the sound of the rain hitting 𝐒𝐶.
Yeah.
It is so loud, it's like somebody is stomping on the roof. And then imagine I call out and say, what is going on? I cannot live in this space. It's because of earlier in your childhood, you were never exposed to that.
Yeah.
I remember my mom, so we lived in Fourways, schooled in Fourways, and then my friend, they lived in Diepsloot. My mom said, oh, you want to go for a sleepover? She came for a sleepover, so you must go for a sleepover at her house. It was such a different experience, sleeping, 𝐤𝐿𝐿, and because I'm a child and I know, you know, how to handle myself, it was the most exciting, best weekend ever. I know. You understand? And at that time, I was bleeding and whatnot, but that was just like the best.
Yeah, because now
I experienced something different.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't the bedroom that I have, that I know that I have a bunk bed. I'm the only child. I don't know the logic behind that.
You don't have to share.
You know.
You've got your own room.
Exactly. You've got your own TV in your room.
No.
But it's like,
I understand. So these are things that good and fair, that we ensure that our kids don't have to go through what we went through.
Yes.
Great. But there's a very thin line between ensuring that our kids don't go through what we've gone through and spoiling our kids.
Yes.
It's a very, very thin line.
Yeah.
At times, I always say, my wife loves, I always say, maybe I'm raising a watchy spoil. Because these boys, there's someone who comes and do these things for them. And at times, like, I get frustrated because they will walk and not pick up the papers. So small little things that I knew that these are things that I used to do. There was no one else doing them, you know?
Yeah.
So, but these are things that you create an environment where these kids can have these things.
Yeah.
But are they really good for them? For them not to be able to do any other things? Or are we really, really saying that, you know, they are being in a previous position, they are okay, we're raising good kids? Or are we raising a cheese boy or cheese girl?
Yes.
It's a very thin line.
It's a very thin line.
Yeah, we need to, because we are trying to give them, and it's all in the same good. What I didn't have.
Hey, that statement is very potent, hey? Because some of the lessons that you had made you who you are today.
Yes.
You understand?
Not all that you've learned, not all that you were was all bad.
Exactly.
There were good lessons because
of
those lessons, of all those challenges that we went through.
Exactly.
So you need to let them go through.
Yeah.
And somehow we want to leave the lies for them, so they prevent them from the pain, and saying we are equipping them for life.
No,
how
definitely
so?
not. Definitely not.
It's about Rafa's life.
Yo. But I think we need to continue this in a part 2, because this is really potent, and I think there's a lot to learn from the different walks of life that we have journeyed, and education doesn't just start and stop esikolweni.
That's the important part,
Yeah.
Probably in closing, to say, as parents, we really need to be intentional about how we're raising our kids, or what we want the outcome to be. And yes, like you always say, you can do your best as a parent, but at times you have no control how the child turns out to be.
Yeah, true.
Because a child, you can do whatever you can, then they decide to turn out badly.
And
But the only thing I always say is that you need to at least know that you've done all that you can.
Yes.
And you've done your best.
Yeah.
And
sit with that as your solace.
So, and understanding, which, education is in various forms.
Yes.
There's different type of it, and maybe what we'll do next time is dive into the different types of education.
Yes.
And how one can access them, and the advantages and disadvantages of all of these.
Yes.
Maybe we should look into that, so that at least we give a well-informed topic in terms of that, so that our people understand, there is more to life than the mainstream. Because to us, it's the child going to primary, secondary, to matric, must go to varsity, then from seventh, and there's no other way. But there is more.
We're bridging the gap.
Definitely. Let's bridge the gap.